What's popping out there in YouTube land? So we got to do it, man. We got to talk about it because I don't do enough. I don't do nearly enough. Boxing world, things are shaking up for the better, in my opinion. November 6th. Was it the 6th? No, I'm sorry. November 20th. We had Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter for the Spence, IBF, WBC. So I believe he got the WBA. So whatever the fourth belt is that isn't the WBC, IBF, or the WBA, that's the belt that Porter and Crawford were fighting for. Crawford was defending his belt, and Porter was looking to take his belt. Porter said before the fight, man, this was he was putting everything on the line. He said he needed to win this fight. He was looking to prove that he wasn't a gatekeeper, that he could get over the hump, because in every major fight in his career, besides Adrian Broner, he has come up just short enough of the win. More recently against Errol Spence, it was a 12-round fight. He lost. He was dropped in the 11th round, I believe. Dropped in the 11th round, and that was a pretty close fight, and so that was the separation. Errol dropped him in the 11th round, and then dominated the 12th round, and then went on to remain undefeated. Was it remain undefeated? No. Actually, he took a belt from Shawn, because Shawn was the champ before that fight. So he ended up stripping Shawn of whatever belt he had at the time, and which made Errol unified champion with the IBF and the WBC. Okay, yeah, so it was the WBC belt he got from Shawn. He speaking of Spence, he was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao back in August of this year. It didn't happen because he suffered a detached retina in training camp, and so he had to drop out of the fight. So on not really short-term notice, because he was supposed to fight on this card, Yordenis Ugas was the replacement in the main event for that fight with Manny Pacquiao. Yordenis Ugas dominated Manny Pacquiao, made it look easy. Pacquiao looked like an amateur in this fight, and it looked bad for Pacquiao. And if Yordenis Ugas dominated him as easily as he did, the haters know Spence would have washed him easy. He would have got him out of there. I believe he would have retired Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao actually retired after that fight with Yordenis Ugas. So, and it wasn't a stoppage victory. They went all 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? It was a decision win. Yordenis got the WBA after that fight. So I can only imagine what Spence would have done to him if he had actually been able to fight that night, man. It would have been a wash. It would have been a wash, hands down. It's disgusting that people actually think Spence would duck this fight when he called for the fight. Why would he duck the fight? He's bigger, stronger, more skills than Manny Pacquiao. He's got everything he needed to beat Manny Pacquiao. Why would you duck accept the fight, the biggest financial fight in your career thus far? He's just gonna back out because he's scared? Nah, that don't make sense, man. So he had to he stepped out of that fight because of the eye injury. So he's been in recovery. No fights on the table for him yet. But after this Crawford and Porter fight, it's looking like we might finally get that Crawford and Spence fight that we've been waiting for I think like 4 years now, man. Like, we've been wanting this fight for a long time. So it looked like that fight might happen. Shawn Crawford beat Porter via 10th round TKO. He knocked him down twice in that round, and after he was knocked down the second time, his dad threw in the towel. Said he didn't like what he saw. Kenny Porter actually claims that Sean didn't really prepare for this fight the way he wanted him to. A lot of people call his father's decision to throw in that towel into question. Personally, I'm on the fence with it. Sean Porter looked okay. He didn't look hurt. Sean Porter, in my opinion, I've never seen Sean has never looked hurt in a fight, in my opinion. Like he's hit the canvas a couple times, but he never looks hurt. Like it's like the punches that he gets hit with, like they just catch him by surprise. Like they catch him while he's throwing a punch, so his momentum is going one way. The punch hits him at a different angle, and it throws his balance off, and he hits the canvas. But he never looks hurt when he after suffering a knockdown. I've never seen him look hurt in a fight, period, to be honest. But his dad said he had seen enough. But Sean looked good to me. He did express his frustration hitting the mat several times before he got back to his feet. But he said ref asked him, was he ready to go? He said he was ready to go, but his father threw in the towel, and that was the end of it. So Crawford gets the win by TKO, 10th round. So he's done with nobody that Sean has ever faced has been able to do, and that's win by knockout. You know, whether that be technical knockout or, actually knocking the guy out. He won by knockout, and he did it in 10 rounds, which is something that people would say, critics are saying, well, Errol Spence can do that. So, they'll look at things like that and say that, well, Terrence is the better fighter because he not only knocked him down, but he won by TKO. 2 rounds shorter than Errol Spence did. And that's not really a fair judgment to come by, because I don't think you're the same fighter one fight down the line. Like, after your first pro fight, depending on how much damage how many punches you absorb, you're not the same fighter after that. Not to say that you're a trash fighter, but once you start taking damage, like, all of that accumulates over time. All of the cuts that you suffer, no matter where you suffer them at, you know what I'm saying? The constant beating, you know what I'm saying, in sparring and in fights, that you take to the ribs, to the face, you know what I'm saying? Your bones constantly getting, getting thrashed. You constantly putting all your might into your punches to put the guy in front of you down. Like, all of that wears on your body. So I don't think it's fair to say that, oh, this guy Crawford is a better fighter than Spence, and he's got more power because he beat Porter in 10 rounds and won by TKO, and Spence didn't do that. He was a fresher fighter one fight ago before he fought Terrence Crawford. I mean, there was a lot of time off in between that fight, but he was a fresher fighter. Like, think of fighters like a car. You don't have the same mileage. After every fight, your mileage goes up, and so you're not quite as fresh as you were a fight ago, 2 fights ago, 3 fights ago, because your body slowly is wearing down, man, and all of that fighting and all of that abuse that you put it through is catching up to you slowly but surely. Either way, I think Spence and Crawford is going to be an excellent fight. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I think Terrence has his hands full. I think both of them had their hands full in that fight. I think that fight is... I don't think it ends in a draw. I think between Crawford and Spence, somebody's getting knocked out. Like, those are 2 dogs, and they will not settle for a draw. They will not leave it up to the judges. They are gonna dog each other out in this fight. Whenever it happens, and it may happen this upcoming year. I just pray for a full recovery for Errol Spence with his eye, because a detached retina is very dangerous, man. You can lose your eyesight in that eye if that doesn't heal correctly, or if it's agitated in the next fight. So I pray for a speedy, not a speedy, but a full recovery from that. because you got to have a life after boxing. All of that being said, more recently, Teofimo Lopez fought George Kambosos Jr., Australian fighter. Never heard of him. I thought it was, I don't know, it seemed like a tune-up fight to me. Lopez fights in, I believe, the 135 division weight limit. There are other fights that he could make, particularly with Devin Haney. I'm sorry, I think they fight at the 100. I think they fight at lightweight, Lopez and Kambosos Jr. They fight at lightweight, but plenty of fights he can make. There's Devin Haney, who's been calling him out. There is Gervonta Davis. I think am I missing somebody? Shakur Stevenson's on his way. I think he's still fighting at 126, but he's on his way up there. But Cambosis versus Lopez. Now, Lopez was a unified champion after beating Lomachenko last year in a 12-round decision win. Wins that fight by decision. This fight with Kambosis was delayed several times. I'm not sure as to why. It didn't seem like it was ever going to happen, to be honest. Fight finally happens. Teofimo comes out like a bull and gets dropped in the first round by what looked like an overhand right from Kambosis. Came out like a bull. Maybe a minute and a half into the fight, man, he came in swinging with another wild combo, and Kambosis timed him, ducked, and put that hand over the top and sat him down. So this was a really good fight. Really good fight. In the 10th round, Lopez returns to favor and drops Kambosos Jr. He had time to try to finish him. He didn't press the assault. Kambosos recovers, and he comes back to dominate the 12th round, and he won by a split decision win. So he is now unified at 130. Lopez says in the post-fight interview inside the ring, feels that he won the fight, feels that everybody knows he wants the fight, but he's not a complainer. He's not going to lose. He's going to take his, I quote, "I take my wins like I take my losses," but apparently you don't if you feel like you won that fight and you're standing on the fact that you say you won that fight. He didn't call for the rematch, but he said he won the fight. When asked about the rematch, when asked about what was next for him, he claimed that he just wanted to spend time with his family. So I obviously heard about that loss. You know, he was riding a really big high after beating who top ranked, bigged up to be the best 130-pounder in Lomachenko. They were trying to, you know, he was on his way to being ranked pound for pound number one if he wasn't already number one before his loss to Lopez. So he was riding a really big high, you know, to be 16 fights in, no losses, 12 wins by way of knockout. Yeah, he got in there with some competition. Kambosos did not budge at all during that entire fight. You know, he was taking some punches, but he was dishing them back. You know, his defense was pretty good. It waned a little bit in the later rounds, but he didn't budge, man. He would get hit with shots, he would stay right there. He would stay right there, slip, dodge, counter. Good boxer, man. He let Teofimo know, "You're not in here with no little boy. You're in here with a man," and he put hands on him. I did, from what the headlines were reading, I thought he had won by way of knockout. But no, he didn't win by one knockout. He won by decision. They were both knocked down in the fight. Kambosos invited Lopez for a rematch in Australia. You know, he is the champ now, so that makes him the A-side. So, you know, he can dictate things like that. So he said, "Hey, man, we showed up to fight. We fought. You lost. You know what I'm saying? You got to hold that. Don't cry about it." He was like, "But if you want that rematch, man, we can do it in Australia. 80,000 people." So he's eager for that rematch. But I'm hearing that he also called out Devin Haney, which I like to see because that tells me that he's in the game to fight. He's not in there for a paycheck. He's not in there for fame. He's in there to cement a legacy. And at that weight limit, Haney is one of the guys you have to fight to cement a legacy in boxing. So that's what I like to see. I like to see fighters fight. I don't like to see them politicking. You say that for your promoter, and when they doing too much, get rid of them. And hell, you best bet maybe even go independent. But that's pretty much all I got. Upcoming in December we got Jojo Diaz versus is he fighting? Oh no, Jojo Diaz versus Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney wins this fight. Jojo Diaz is a tough opponent. I don't think it's gonna be a easy win. Like, cause Jojo Diaz is tough. Possibly Haney wins by TKO if he really utilizes his jab and his length to his advantage, because he has a big height and reach advantage over Jojo Diaz. So he could win by TKO if he boxes. If he boxes from range, he could win by TKO. I think. And I think that's it. I think that's it for like big fights for the year. That's all I got for y'all, man. So like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know who you got in this upcoming fight. Let me know your thoughts on these past 2 big fights that's happened. Let me know who you want to see this upcoming year, man, because I know who I want to see. So, man, that's all I got for y'all, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. Get at your boy.